Okay, so let's cover question 4, please, and then circar it as well, and I'll give you a couple of minutes and I'll catch up. Okay, so let's see how you got on. So, a student is heating an iron bar of mass 5 grams from 20 degrees C to 30 degrees C. The specific heat capacity of iron is 500 joules per kilogram per degree C. Calculate the energy. Okay, so it's a calculate question straight away, so I'm going to blend in here carb and circar. So calculate the energy required. Okay, so I'm looking for the energy required to cause this temperature change. Use the equation, so it gives me an equation I have to use. There it is, thermal energy, mass times speed. Wow, this is a really big equation. Give your answer in kilojoules. So give your answer in kilojoules, kJ, and it's worth 5 marks. So that 5 marks there tells me this must be there are lots of potential things that could go wrong here with this question. It's a complex question worth a lot of marks. Remember, typically we've seen about 4 marks between grade boundaries in the papers that have been so far. So this is over a grade, this question within this paper. So it's going to be a tricky question. So we need to make sure we are very disciplined and we follow the circar procedure carefully. So a student is heating an iron bar of mass 5 grams from 20 degrees C to 30 degrees C, so they're both temperatures. The specific heat capacity of iron is that. Specific heat capacity of iron is 500 joules. So it's given me all those numbers, so I'm going to have to use them all because they're not allowed to give me, remember, numbers that are not useful anymore in the exam. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line down here. I'm going to rewrite. So I've starred what I'm trying to find. I've underlined key points. I'm going to rewrite the values. So the values I need, I'm going to look at the formula. The values I need mass equals 5 grams. Straight away, alarm bells. I'm looking for things because it's 5 marks. I'm looking for things that the examiner's going to try and trick me on. 5 grams. Okay, well, it's not. I need kilograms for mass. Okay, well, I've forgotten here. How on earth? So I need to get this into kilograms. Kilo is going to be times 1,000 grams. So kilo is times 1,000. So what do I need to times it by 1,000 to make 5? So what do I do? Let's see. If I 5 divided by 1,000, change that to 0.005. So let me just check. 0.005 times 1,000 is 5. Brilliant. So let me just put that back. So 0.05. 0.05 kilograms, and just by doing that, that's 1 mark. Okay, so I've used the times 1,000 bit there. You don't have to write that, obviously. This is just to remind me that K means times 1,000. Whenever I see K, I'll replace it by times 1,000 in my head, and also I can just check very quickly that 0.005 times 1,000. That's an easy mistake to make. 0.005, goodness me, so I'm not copying off my calculator properly, rushing. 0.005, should be 2 noughts there. Okay, so that's my mass. What do I need then? I need the specific heat capacity. So SHC is equal to, what does it tell me that there? 500 joules per kilogram per degree C. It's unlikely that, for this is quite a complex unit here, joules per kilogram. It's unlikely that they will muck about with the units here and will change. You'll need to convert this. It's unlikely. Okay, but if you did, it's the same. You do it in the same kind of way. So if I gave you kilojoules, then just replace the K by times 1,000. Temperature change. I need temp change. So temp change. So the temperature change. This is a sneaky one here, because they gave me in the question 2 temperatures. So it goes from 20 to 30. So the temperature change goes from 20 to 30 degrees C, which means the temperature change is 10 degrees C, because it starts at 20 and it goes up to 30, and that would definitely be another mark there. So I've got 2 marks already for this question before I even started really answering it. Now I'm going to put the values, so I've got my 3 values that I need for this question. So I've got mass, specific heat capacity and temperature change. The only other thing I need to find out is the change in thermal energy, which is what I'm trying to find, energy required, remember? So I'm going to put those values back into my equation. So let's do that now. So if you can do that. Okay, let's see how we get on. So change in thermal energy. So change in thermal energy equals mass, which was 0.005. Make sure I've got the correct number of zeros in this one. Times specific heat capacity times 500 times temperature change, which was 10, equals, so 0.05 times 500 times 10 equals 25. So 25 joules. And last thing, give your answer in kilojoules. So I need this to be kilojoules. So I need something, so kilo, remember, is times 1,000. So times 1,000 joules. So what do I times by 1,000 to make 25? Well, I'm going to have to do 25 divided by 1,000, because I want the thousands to cancel out. Let's just quickly check that. So 25 divided by 1,000 equals 0.025. 0.025 kilojoules. Okay, 5 marks. That's over a grade there in that question. If we quickly look through, where would I got the marks for? 1 there, 1 there, 1 here, the kilojoules. So that's 3, 1 for the substitution and 1 for the answer. Okay, so there's 5 marks right there. And to be honest, if I'd missed out this bit, then I'd still be able to get 4 marks if I'd continued. If I hadn't realised that was the mass was in grams rather than kilograms. To be honest, even if I'd continued this and I'd used that over here instead, I only would have lost 1 mark here. This is called error carried forward. So the examiner can only penalise you once for a mistake. They can't take multiple marks. If you made 1 mistake, you're going to lose. You should lose 1 mark. Okay, next question. Question 5. Could you cover question 5, please?